Some of you might be asking, this is going to be a spoiler-free review. I'm going to get into spoilers in the second half of the video, and I will acknowledge it, but for now, I'm going to talk completely spoiler-free, and I'll let you know. Spider-Man Homecoming. I've been saying this recently about a lot of things that I've been talking about, but Spider-Man was a big deal for me. It was the first comic book I ever read. I didn't even know how to read. I looked at the pictures. He was my first favorite superhero. I then grew up to love the movies and love the games and just love everything Spider-Man. And I have a really deep appreciation for all the Spider-Man movies, despite their faults. I mean, I love 1 and 2, the original Sam Raimi movies, more than anything. They're in my top 5 favorite movies, at least. Sure, it's not perfect by any means, but Tobey Maguire ain't the most thrilling Peter Parker, but I still find those movies really entertaining. The Amazing Spider-Man movies, I find a lot more problems with, but they each have some great moments that I really have grown to love and appreciate more over time. But I just wanted to put that out there, how much I love those first 2 Spider-Man movies, just because it might be clouding my judgment. I'm not going to try to compare them too much, but inevitably, as I talk about this, it's going to happen. I mean, come on, I live for these movies. Deliver us! Say that shit! Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, Spider-Man Homecoming. Okay, Civil War, I thought he had a great little appearance. I thought they did it well, and the same goes here. I like Tom Holland. I think he's really great. He's really charismatic. He's very much a kid. He's like a cute little baby boy, and he's very much that in Spider-Man Homecoming. He's naive, he's eager, he's excited, he's way funny and goofy and spastic, but it's good. I really like it. It's fun to watch, and I will say that right off the bat about Spider-Man Homecoming. It is entertaining, it is fun to watch, and it is hilarious. It's like mile-a-minute laugh. Some people, if you're not too into the Marvel Cinematic Universe type of humor, you might find that it feels a little bit forced. But for me, I ate it up. I thought it was really funny. I thought it had some of the funnier moments in the entire MCU altogether. I was really satisfied with that. Almost like to the point where he's so goofy and cartoony. But I thought it was interesting because this movie, Spider-Man Homecoming, I don't love it. I'm not head over heels for it, but the more I think about it, the more I like it. Now, I've talked about it on this channel before, the nerd chills you get that feeling when you see Luke Skywalker for the first time in 30 years. For me, when you first see Captain America really kick ass in Winter Soldier, you get that feeling because it's like how that character is, how you love it, how it's going down. And I get that for Spider-Man. I get that anytime Spider-Man is in a movie swinging through the air. Anytime Batman is gliding. And so many movies that I have so much love for and so much feelings for, you get that like, ooh, you get that feeling, you know? And Spider-Man Homecoming, despite really enjoying it and having so much fun with it and just being front to back a well put together movie, I didn't get that feeling once. And that to me is crazy because Spider-Man for me, like I freak out about Spider-Man. And I didn't hear. I mean, I really liked it. I liked what I saw. It's hard to put into words though why it just still didn't, it was like right there. But again, this is gonna sound so stupid and juvenile and not really, doesn't matter, but there's no big scenes of Spider-Man swinging through New York City. He's not soaring. To me, it's like a Batman movie where they never show Batman gliding with his cape. To me, I need that. I'm obsessed with the locomotion and how Spider-Man gets around. I've always been really into it and fascinated by it and love seeing it. And there's none of that here. The movie, of course, starts out, it's a young Peter Parker. He's still very much learning the Spider-Man ropes. He's not necessarily soaring through the air. Maybe just because he's still learning. That's kind of implied. At one point, he's even afraid of heights a little bit in the movie. But okay, that nonsense aside, I will say that is very interesting what they did here. This is very much a Queens and Brooklyn movie. Someone who is from New York and someone who is very familiar with these areas. I thought it was really cool. It was really, really well done and represented. You know, I know they didn't shoot all of it in New York City, but a lot of things, he's walking down Queens Boulevard, and it is very much Queens Boulevard, and you see Flatbush, and you see all these places, and I thought that was really cool. That was really kind of unexpected for them to embrace the Queens that much. They went full in. And there's some great scenes in the movie with that. Some of the best scenes are early on when it's him being Spider-Man in New York and kind of not doing a good job. He's just kind of screwing up, but he's trying to help and he wants to help. And it felt earnest and honest. It also felt distinctly New York with some of the things that went down. And that to me as a New Yorker like made me really, really happy. And as a Spider-Man fan, because Spider-Man is one part New York and one part Spider-Man. I also disagree with people who act like this is like 100% comic accurate Spider-Man. Did we see the same movie? I'm not even talking about the gadgets, I'm talking about the baggage and stuff. Now, you can totally argue that this Peter does have some baggage, and I guess I could agree with you, but mostly this was a very light, happy-go-lucky tale with not a lot going wrong, and Peter really just kind of meddling in other people's affairs. Yeah, he's dealing with the fact that he's being a superhero, juggling with high school, but I think there's usually more to Spider-Man, and I always gravitated to Spider-Man because he always had more issues, and he was kind of, it was like this melodramatic thing where it was like, oh my god, what am I going to do with Spider-Man? Like, it was always a little much, but I still liked it, and it kept me really interested, and it was like Peter uses his humor and wears the mask of Spider-Man, and he becomes his real self, and that humor is really offsetting some of the drama and shit that he deals with, like the various things that happens to him. Just like things in his life are usually, he's more of a tragic hero than I think people really expect or let on to, so I'd like to see a little more of that. But he's also 15 years old. They can't give the kid in this movie, in this interpretation, that miserable of a life, can they? In a Spider-Man movie, at this point, I'm not even looking for perfect comic book accuracy because we're never gonna get that. But I mean, when half of Peter's skills are from a suit and from the looks of it, he barely has spider sense at all, that's where the movie kind of loses me a little bit. I can't help it. But again, it all comes down to different interpretations, I guess. I just want something slightly more different than I guess Marvel did. Michael Keaton was fantastic as the Vulture. He was really good. First of all, he fit in very well with the whole MCU thing, with just making sense in that universe. But I thought he did a great job of being like, oh, I kind of see where he's coming from, like that. There's some dilemmas in there that are introduced that are really good. And Michael Keaton's just charismatic, so you can't help but be into him, whether you love him or you hate him, or you understand him or you disagree with him. And one of the more compelling villains in a Marvel movie, maybe not the best one, but he was pretty damn good. I think what the movie boils down to, though, and it made me stop and think a lot about what I like about Spider-Man the most, and it made me realize that there's so many different ways to interpret Spider-Man, and there have been different comics, different movies, all vastly different. This one that the Marvel Cinematic Universe wants isn't quite how I think of Spider-Man, but it's still good. It's still entertaining. Just the whole MCU stuff here, the way it's integrated really well. This actually feels like the most universe-y movie I've seen in a while in the MCU. This one feels so connected, so relevant, so right immediately in it, in a world. Like, maybe it's, for some people it'll be a little too on the nose, like too many references, but I really like it. It felt really this time like a comic book world with all these comic book people interacting. You got a decent amount of Iron Man, but nothing really crazy. He did not steal the show like he did in the marketing and the trailers at all, which I think is insulting. You don't need Iron Man to sell a Spider-Man movie. When I said that it's a different interpretation of him, it really is, because it put Spider-Man in a lot of different scenarios I didn't expect. Overall, I was very satisfied with it on a base level. It's hilarious. It does the high school stuff very well, but it's also got some good messages about the embodiment of Spider-Man and what Spider-Man means to Peter Parker and what he means to people. Mostly really to Peter Parker, which is important. And I thought that they nailed a lot of that stuff really well. And I think the best part about it, and I had some complaints, like I said, with Spider-Man, is just the feeling. I didn't get that feeling I thought I was going to get. But they did really nail the earnestness of being a hero, wanting to be a hero, doing the right thing, and just trying, giving it your best shot. And again, like, despite the problems, what it really did for me was that by the end it got me very, okay, I want more. Okay, I can't wait to see what they do next time. I can't wait to see where this is going to go. They're trying to build a Spider-Man universe. As soon as they got their hands on Spider-Man from Sony, they're like, in just a little way, they're like, all right, we're going to lock him down as much as we can, because there's a lot of interesting things going on. And I can't wait to see where they're going to take it next, especially if he grows up a little, learns a little more, gains a little more baggage, and maybe really becomes that full-powered Spider-Man that I wanted to see. My thoughts on these Spider-Man movies change over time. Like I said, the Amazing Spider-Man movies, I feel way differently now than I did when I first saw them. But I'm looking forward to probably talking about this again in the future, because I love Spider-Man so much. Sorry. But I guess now let me get into spoiler territory. There's so much more to talk about that I didn't want to go in and spoil anything for anyone, because the trailers halfway freaking did that anyway. I didn't watch any trailers, so you shouldn't do that. But by now, if you didn't see the movie, go see the movie and then come back and let's talk spoilers. Let me get into it first with the big twist with the Vulture and Michael Keaton. When he opened that door, I was like, whoa! Like, I did not expect that. I thought that was a really good, well set up twist. It's also a very Spider-Man twist. That is something that would happen, and it works perfectly, and I thought it was a really good payoff. And there's a lot of weird sequences there, like Spider-Man driving a car, which bothered me again with Spider-Man not swinging around, but it was hilarious and fun, and to see him, like, web shoot and swing around the corner with a car. I thought that was really cool. I freaked out. I don't know. But that's what I want to touch on. I hinted at it earlier in the review, is that they put Spider-Man in situations you didn't really expect. Just the scenarios. Number one, they throw him in a neighborhood at night where there's a lot of trees, which I thought was a really satisfying scene. That was where I got to see him move around and do his thing a lot. And it was funny and really cool, and I enjoyed that. You see him, in a neighborhood. You see him in Washington, D.C. You see him fight the end battle on a beach. It's stuff you would never really expect Spider-Man to be, or where you would really want him to be, but it was still satisfying. It was interesting, and it was different. We've seen enough Spider-Man. We've seen enough of the traditional Spider-Man. Maybe I need to grow up with my pansy ass and accept this new interpretation of Spider-Man. But all my complaints about nerd chills aside and stuff, that scene in the rubble is easily in my top Spider-Man moments. That's a young Spider-Man literally becoming Spider-Man right in front of your eyes, and man, oh man, did that worked for me. And with this new interpretation, I really like the MCU shit. I love the way they set it up right in the beginning. You see the Battle of New York right in Grand Central Station where Hulk punched Thor when they downed that big thing. I thought that was really cool, but most notably, the Captain America shit. I love that. Okay, like Captain America is in my top 5 favorite superheroes. It was so funny. I was so into the Captain America stuff, like I was almost distracted by it. It's so funny the way he shows up on the TV and stuff. Like the Captain America coming in, taking a chair, turning it backwards, and sitting down on it and giving you the business is like my life. I love that. I want to see more of that shit. That's so great. I think I'm also really into some of the little things they dropped here and there, like Gargan. They threw the last name Gargan out with that guy. That guy is going to be Scorpion, which is really cool. I heard that name instantly, and I was like, oh, Scorpion, cool. Another villain I'm into. Another villain that has motives that are somewhat personal, like the Vultures, if they go that route, which could be cool. He's also Taco from Better Call Saul from Breaking Bad. The school stuff was really good. I like that Flash Thompson was a bully, but he was like the bully of the nerds. It felt a little more, I don't want to say realistic, but it felt like a different thing to chew on, and I thought it was interesting. Also, the scene with Donald Glover, like, I don't think he's the most amazing thing in the world, but I thought that scene was really great and really funny. Also, I caught a very, very tiny reference to Miles Morales. Pepper's back. Pepper Potts is back. Someone who I never really gave a shit about, but, like, once she was gone and Tony said that they kind of had a falling out, bummed me out. And now to see that she's back, cool. It felt like a reunion, and I was into it. When Tony revealed that suit, that new Spider-Man suit, the whole audience in the theater I was in clapped and cheered, and I was like, that's fucking ugly. That's so awful. Don't take it, Spidey. Don't wear it, Peter. And then he walked away from it, and I was like, yeah! I just thought it looked ugly. I didn't want him to wear that Spider-Man suit. I don't know. I have problems. I take this shit too seriously. And honestly, with the next movie, I just want to see Spider-Man do more. He had access to all these abilities and different types of shots of webs, but like he barely threw a punch in the movie, and I definitely just want to see more of that go down. Especially considering in this Spider-Man movie, it's like a lot of people really know his identity now, it seems like, and I kind of like it because in one hand, I don't like it because it's like Spider-Man is more of a lone wolf to me in a lot of ways, but here I like it because it's very much more of the it takes a village to raise a child thing, which I think is an interesting interpretation here, and it makes me smile. A lot of this movie just made me smile. It was nice. It was the feel-good movie of the summer. I mean, shit, I should do videos about the original Sam Raimi movies. I would love to talk about those. But that's Spider-Man. That's Spider-Man Homecoming. I have really weird feelings about it. I know some of you might disagree. Everybody has different favorite Spider-Mans, which I think is cool. So I definitely want to hear yours. I want to know what you're thinking about Spider-Man Homecoming. Let's talk about this stuff down in the comments. I want to know what your favorite moment from the movie was, what your favorite character was, what you expected, what you were disappointed by, what you really loved, and what you want to see more of. Let's talk about any of the Spider-Man stuff down there. I'm really looking forward to this conversation because like I live, eat, and breathe and sleep and shit Spider-Man. So I'm looking forward to hearing from you guys. Again, thanks for helping me hit 100,000 subscribers. I'm going to start announcing some winners from that giveaway soon, so keep your eyes peeled. But I'm Jake Baldino. Thank you guys for watching. You can subscribe because video games.